Welcome to Manhattan, my long strange trip. We're getting ready to do the little corner Curtis.
We love corner Curtis.
The Stella cam doesn't quite fit in this frame.
We're a little tight.
Welcome everybody. It may not seem like it if you haven't been around lately, but I'm about to shift this long strange trip again in several ways.
How many gears we got on this bitch?
And lucky for me, Erica has agreed to continue taking this trip with me. We've both grown, I think a little, at least in our abilities as just, TTRPG gamers in general. I'm kind of proud of that. I'm not saying we're the best by any measure.
I had no bar to measure on, so I'm doing great.
Yeah, well, I hadn't played since '89, so it'd been a minute. Well, I think we've done all right. I've always been a bit stubborn about rules, and one of those, what did the great GM guy say that I saw in his newest video? Not at the cost of the story type GMs, like, I won't sacrifice story for rules. One of those game masters, apparently, that's a stereotype of game master. Not a bad stereotype per se, but a stereotype. But I still hold on to some of that old school need to roll the dice at every turn, or hex. I'm working on that too. Many of you already know this, but I'm going to keep repeating it until I feel safe. Taking a hint from the wording provided in the new KULT Game Master's Guide, Beyond Darkness and Madness, available in some places now and will be easily available by everyone very soon, and officially declared that this is a KULT Gods and Monsters reflection. And if you don't have access to that material, I think this will be a good place to try and pick that up through examples, good or bad. Other than the playtesters, I assume, messed around in this reflection before it went to press, were the first to play it like this. Certainly the first on stream, at least that I know of. Not that I'm trying to brag. It's just an opportunity for all of us to discover and learn in real time together. A little, at least. Which brings me to the agenda, a key component to every KULT game. And Gods and Monsters is no different. Yes, that's a game master terminology.
Oh, straighten your tie there, sir.
Yeah, you gotta have the book and stuff. You gotta take the class to get that.
You get a license.
And the first item on the list of the agenda is to build an evolving world of dread.
Fun.
She snickers.
Dread.
Dread. Well, yeah, that's always the challenge with me, right? Getting that dread.
Sorry, Otterboat just cracked me up with the chat.
That's why I don't think.
Not sure if I wrote rules for butt breaking and Gods and Monsters, though. More the Betty.
Well, the world has been quite different for Joel lately, although she's barely had time to register all of it, but certainly began to sink in quickly after a house tried to eat her. But she was, saved by this curly red-headed girl with fangs and pointy ears and eyes so yellow-green they were like chartreuse. She wasn't scary. The souls that attacked you, trying to steal your body by basically throwing out your soul to clamor around with the rest of them, moving body to body until hopefully you get yours back, I guess, would be the ultimate goal. That was kind of scary.
Those were horrifying.
That was supposedly Metropolis, but when you went through the window, it was Inferno where your feet landed, then a poop chute into the underworld, perhaps,
Ew.
and eventually back to what you will learn or remember is probably the more appropriate word, the corrupted and illusory Elysium, or New Elysium, as those who have a reason to distinguish it will say, opposed to the uncorrupted old Elysium that still much of humanity has completely forgotten. I'm certain Joel will get many opportunities to learn all about that, but starting small is always wise advice, right?
Joel could not process much information at one time. Small is always good.
In front of you, Joel, is a VHS tape. A packet of files. The mandate dossier, I've called it. A group you met recently, but never really got a chance to learn much about. That's all there. And that old, ancient battle axe, considering the patina that's on it. What do you do?
I probably would grab the mandate file first and flop it out onto the table and just spray it out and start digging through.
I'm going to add some more information to the handout that's there. I put the basic stuff, which for today's purposes is really about all you need. I'm going to have individual details. It has all of the people that you met, but there was one name that is going to ring out and prevent you from really wanting to look at any of the rest of the files, and that is their leader. Isn't Sam Watson? Isn't that your Uncle Sam?
It is Uncle Sam.
I misspelled the name there.
I'm like, what do you want to know about Uncle Sam? He's Uncle Sam.
I was typing quickly. He's apparently the leader of this group.
Really? Oh, Watton. Close enough. It's fine. Didn't mean to point out your typo just
then. Watch folks in real time. That's the great thing about Roll20.
Oh, perfect. Looks so much better.
Immediately fixed. And so, yeah, and the information that if you peruse through it, you're going to find that your uncle is apparently also goes by another name.
Oh, what's that?
And it is a name similar to one you heard before of a different person. This one is Callum Zagni, Zagni. Now, in this particular timeline, and how I had it in my head is you don't remember the other because it was technically the other Joel that met and heard the name Callum. As in Callum Duga, which is the doctor.
Oh, right.
But there is a sense of familiarity to it. You don't know where it comes from. It's just kind of like that, kind of that deja vu feeling that you get sometimes.
The brain tickle.
Yeah, the brain tickle. Like, that's interesting. And it mentioned something about him being the shepherd of the portals.
Oh, interesting. Shepherd of the portals.
Yep.
Is there like a picture of him in there? Or is it just the name?
No photos.
Oh. That's so fun. Is there anything else cool in there?
Didn't realize realize that music was up so dang loud. My apologies.
Blowing everybody's ears out. RIP headphone users.
Yeah, that's how excited I was. I just got right into it and forgot that I had my OBS monitor turned down because the video is blaring in my ear while I was trying to talk to you before the game. Which reminds me, do we have any pre-game rolls that we need to do for Joel?
No, Joel does not have any pre-game rolls. Hers are mostly violence moves, or when I get injured, or happen to stumble upon a small creature I'd like to have a discussion with. And of course, the code of honor, which is more of just a mental thing, if you will. And unless you're gonna make me go to bed, that's the only thing. But I feel like I'm a little too wired right now, looking at files to be sleepy.
Yeah, I don't. My kids are all grown up. I don't tell them to go to bed anymore. I don't tell anybody to go to bed anymore.
Except for maybe yourself.
I rarely do I do that anymore. That's a problem. Okay, so that's the information on that. Now, your uncle is relatively close by for you. I mean, have you ever had any problem like communicating with him or getting him if you need him, like reaching out to the phone call, or has he always been elusive to you? I say this because some of this backstory you may have said, and I don't have 100%.
He is, but he isn't. He's a very like hands-off uncle. Like he definitely will answer if I call, but he doesn't ever really reach out back in the same capacity. Like he calls to check in, but that's like once every 4 months or something. So it's very much like he's doing his thing, I'm doing my thing. If I need something, which is very rare, it's usually not anything super big because I don't really want to make him worry. He knows shit's bad, but I kind of leave him to his own devices like he does me. It's very like like South Side almost relationship. Like you can fuck with me, but you don't fuck with family. Right. We may not talk, we may not like each other, but I will definitely kick somebody's ass. Mentality.
Well, then I imagine you would find that curious.
Yes. I would. But I'm also very much distracted by everything else that's on the table. And it's like a jotted in the head call later. Ask questions.
What do you look at next?
I probably would grab the VHS tape and like gather the files in my arms and kind of like jaunt over to the living room and drop them on the coffee table and then get the VHS put in.
The old VHS tape. There's a label on it that says Old Times with Map and Kavon. I don't know exactly how to pronounce that, as neither would Joel. I'm not sure,
No. Map and
it's kind of an
Key
obvious
van.
little stupid thing that just popped into my head at the time that I'm trying to be sneaky and witty.
She literally would take it literally as key van.
But if Curtis tries to create a puzzle, I will make it unsolvable. You would have to be so, subtextual. The old VHS tape crackles and whines in the machine as if it's much older than it possibly could be, and static lines and those glitchy sounds wake the television, and the image of a robed man, middle-aged, with a noble air or presence, standing awkwardly in front of the camera as an unknown person adjusts it. A voice from the background. I think it's ready. The voice feels very familiar, but there's an odd accent throwing it off. The robed man continues an unimportant exchange over operation of the camera, kind of like parents on so many home movies. The robed voice also sounds very familiar to you. but his appearance hasn't registered with you yet. The voice from the camera says, "Truth is dimensional." The robed man agrees, but the entire scene is interrupted when a third voice, yelling from off screen, "Duga!" As the name races through your memory, the second voice answers, "We have balance. The portal is not net," and the camera cuts off. About 30 seconds of blank tape, that VHS kind of snow, as you sit there staring at this, sort of with this information, hitting you at once before you actually get up and go hit the stop button on the machine. The remote, long lost. A series of broken images and clips begin tearing across the screen. You recognize some of the street signs, some addresses, images, some still takes of the addresses from the front of houses and a building. Some of the clips are from horribly violent scenes, and there is another loud and long glitch spot in the tape, as if the machine was eating it. I don't know if you ever remember. You ever have VHS tape and experience the machine eating your movie?
My Little Mermaid got murdered.
Murdered by the VHS monster. Yeah. An image appears, old but unbroken. It's got like this film reel quality to it, gritty, as the images move to perform a ritual. The high contrast development makes it difficult, but you can make him out after a few moments. And when you realize this chanting noise is coming from him, that vocal quality gives him away as Duga. You didn't notice it at first, but it's a stone altar of some sort, and there's a woman shackled to it, arms and legs to each corner. He brandishes a wicked knife and turns towards the camera. It is the same regal features, but they are beaten and scarred. One eye appears as if it has been swollen recently. And a cold grips your body, and you realize that he's staring directly at you through the TV.
Oh, no.
And I want you to keep it together.
Ooh, that's spooky. That's spooky. It's okay. It's okay. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Not great, but not terrible.
Yeah. Oh, technically we should -1 to that. I forgot. I'm unshaken.
That's all right. That's
I'm undistressed. Not really. But the scary part is that it does scare me to a bit, because my first instinct is to grab a knife and chuck it at the TV. So Joel has been sitting there watching this, like hands folded, in front of the mouth, on her knee, like hands on her knees, elbows, hunched over watching this. And then that happens, and just very quickly, like eyes go wide, grabs a knife out of her boot and just chucks it right at the TV. That is her burst of fear, that just pure instinct takes over. She hucks it through the TV.
Nice. That's when you realize, as you let go of the knife, that you didn't throw it at the TV.
Oh no.
Because you are inside the TV.
Oh, son of a bitch.
In this dark void of a space, sort of a light shining down, illuminating him and the altar behind him. And he starts staring at you intently and moving very slowly towards you. looking in your eyes as if he is looking inside whatever mask you may have on, or inside, and I mean, you can practically feel him examining the back of your skull. He's not looking at your surface. He's looking inside you through your eyes. What do you do?
Well, for starters, I start backing away instinctively. Someone's coming at you and they're staring at you like that. You're gonna want to move backwards. And I probably don't say anything. I just kind of am frozen there for a minute until I hit the button again. Until staring at queens again, super close. Until it kind of dawns on me that I don't need to be necessarily scared. I'm a big girl. I can take care of myself. And while this is uncomfortable, I still have asses to kick at some point to get answers for what I need. So I probably would pull my gun out of the back of my very wet jeans. It kind of squeaks out on the belt on the way by. And I probably would try to use intimidating. That there's something about me that instinctually makes others fear me. Whenever I try to threaten another person or frighten them, I can roll violence. Be ready for this.
Go for it.
Son of a bitch. It's a 14. So they run away from me or they give in to me. GN's choice.
Let's do the give in situation. How does that look?
So Joel just stands her ground. You see her pull the gun. There's a slight squeak as it comes past the wet belt. Still a bit of chafing, yes. Chat, who's been asking. And she walks towards him. And there is no command of you need to stop moving towards me. He just stops. And she just comes right up in his face, puts the barrel of the gun to his head, and just stares him down. Where are we?
Do you ask him?
Yes.
He doesn't answer you with words, but that feeling in your gut and in your chest starts to tingle up through your back and your spine that you would imagine that you would have if you were standing now in front of the people who murdered your parents. That this man, you don't know, you can't make sense of it. It's as if it's been washed from your mind at some point in time. But you know this person in that very same sense that this man has murdered your family. And the stare down between the two of you never breaks. And the expression in his eyes, although it's just so subtle, you would be able to pick it up with a camera, but you pick it up because he starts to smile in a sense because he's putting it there. You can tell him what to do and he will do some of it, but he's got way more mojo than you do.
Oh,
and
fair point.
he's going to continue to twist with your brain. And he's trying to get this stuff to you, and you can't make sense of it. You see places that are not familiar to you that look fantastical, bright and shiny, and not Manhattan. Sunshine and blue skies and green trees and grass and white buildings. And you hear screams and fighting, lots of fighting, swords clanging, battle axes. Roll plus soul. I want to see if instincts took over.
Well, let's see. Oh, baby! That's a 16.
The battle axe
Sorry, I got the little monsters jumping around are so cute. Thanks, chaotic story.
Yes. I like his little moving eyes. Those are tight. The battle axe is not covered in patina. It's actually not even really a patina. It's some odd, thick grime of some sort. I suppose technically you might call it a patina, but it can come off, and it will come off after this event, because you feel it becoming one with you in a sense. Descriptively, it's very, very light and appears to be made of a thin black stone. But you can sense its strength. You know if you hit something with it, it isn't going to break. It is entirely a single piece of this material, carved, not forged. The handle is a dark work of art, as a tightly and sort of haphazardly put in position. I'll put it that way. Maybe haphazard is like the opposite word. Positioned appropriately, stacked bodies as if they were spindled on a spike and stacked up, that forms the grip of this. So if you can imagine, a body sandwich in a sense. And they all reveal these sculpted images of anguish and pain, missing arms and appendages and heads. And that motif continues up to the blades. It's a double-bladed axe, and the texture of the stone and the shape of the blades of the axe gives it an almost bladed bone, like a shoulder blade sort of look to it, like it might have come from something like that. It hasn't, but it just gives it that sort of look. And that same motif then is etched on this blade, as you see a field of bodies that are slain, and standing in the middle of them is the silhouette of a person. You assume it's a man. It is this muscular looking, sort of large, long-haired. No details can be made out, no features of the man. Obviously, these are all his kills. And now he's ready to help you kill this thing in front of you.
Oh, dope.
And so you can attack with it if you like. You can roll violence +3.
Oh, hell yeah. I'm swinging this motherfucker so fast. Give me the window. I want the window. I'm trying to put the 3 in. We're going to see if it works. Trying. It did work. It's a 21. Heck yeah. Heck yeah.
21. Beautiful. Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you describe what you do with this guy. You can play it up any way you like. But first, I want you to make a roll +0 for me, please.
+0. Roll 2d10 +0. It's a 5.
That was weird.
It was a 5.
A 2 and a 3. That's definitely a 5.
I used my macro down at the bottom. That's probably why it was weird.
Okay, yeah, it didn't have the little card on it. Okay, sweet.
Yes.
Fix the card on
the Making note. Okay.
Okay.
Do you want me to go before you use the 5 against me,
awesome.
or?
No, I want you to describe how you tear into Kalanduga.
Oh, yeah. So definitely, like, this weird sadistic look comes over Joel. Her already really dark eyes turn almost completely black, like pupil comes out really wide.
Yes, and in fact, to help booster this, because I forgot to tell you, that +3 is because this grants you rage.
Yes, I love a good rage. Yeah. I love a good rage. So You see her eyes just go absolutely dark, and it almost is super scary because instead of being like a frowning or angry face, she also gets a very sadistic smile on her face, like, oh, I'm about to enjoy the fuck out of this. And the gun slowly comes back down and tucks into the back of her jeans. And the axe in her hand that has appeared is then she kicks him back. So she takes a step back to put the gun away and then just solidly plants her foot in his chest, follows through with the axe in the other hand, just right across just below the jawline, all the way down to the next shoulder, and just floop, head
That's
comes
kind
off, hits the floor, blood.
of, that's kind of almost exactly what I wanted to do. Either that or I would split him in two. I thought maybe you might go that way. That'd be cool.
I love decapitation. I'm all
Say
about
one.
good decapitation.
Rage actually, when you use it, gives you a now you can only use this. It's not like a regular advantage where you can pull it up anytime, but it is an advantage that you can activate with the use of the axe. I had it, now I lost it because my mouse went zoom.
Oh, you're also zooming in on Queens very close.
All right, so we'll look it up, but you get edges.
Yes,
As I
I
saw
think
from the thing. So we'll
I've
have to
used
see
Rage before.
if it has specific edges or what, but we can look that up.
Sweet.
You tear him to him and do that. Unsatisfyingly, though, he just sort of fades away like Obi-Wan Kenobi at the end of the battle with Darth Vader, and you're left there to poke at it with your toe and scoff.
With my boot, just that was fucking anticlimactic.
Yes. Where did he go?
Son
Trick
of a
on the
bitch.
floor.
I at least get to hear the head go floop.
Yes. And
okay, then I'll take it.
The other roll also caused a problem.
Yeah.
that has yet to reveal itself because the blade has good and bad.
I'm sure it does.
But I knew Joel wouldn't care. Once she felt the juice, I was like, oh, this is going to be too tempting.
It's hell yes.
It's perfect. The scene starts to fade away, and as you realize that you are returning to your room, to your house, to your reality, the body on the slab is Blythe.
No!
Now, whether it was real or not, we don't know. Right. Because once you realize what you're doing, the videotape is running, and you see him then perform this ritual in which he kills the girl on the slab. But in the video version, when you're looking on the screen, you don't see those features. You don't recognize her. It could be, it might not be. You don't know.
Okay.
And it also has that old look, so your brain isn't going to fully accept whether that was her or not. And just for, I don't know, if Joel's the type who would pick up the phone and call.
Would call Blythe, just be like, you okay?
She will answer and be confused and be like, yeah, dude, what?
No, I probably wouldn't call. She's out living life, doing Blythe things, enjoying freedom, I'm sure.
Making bacon cookies, all sorts of fun stuff. So, yeah, you come back, you watch him finish that, and that was the rest of the information on that tape, all sort of butchered up and a bit of a mess. But as the Deus Ex Machina would have it, there's a knock at the door.
Oh shit. Do I have the axe in my hand?
Yes.
Or is it still, yeah, so it like popped in and now is there blood or anything on it? Is it dripping in any way, shape, or form?
It is back to its kind of cruddy stage, but a little cleaner. You know what I mean? Some of that,
Crap is
yeah.
falling away.
And really, um, I actually stumbled across a video today. Totally, here's Curtis going off on a complete tangent, but it's okay. We have time. A guy was doing a restoration on a meat cleaver that looked like it was from the Middle Ages, dug out of the ground. And I was like, no way, this thing's got to be rusted through and through. And he did his metal restoration tricks, and then just basically kind of like with a little thing just chiseled away this layer of
shit
rusted, you know what I mean, and left a pitted layer of metal that he still had to deal with, but that all of that corroded, lumpy
crap.
Was like a coating just kind of crusting away. And that's kind of how I envision this stuff being. It's like this just old funk. I mean, it could be like 1,000-year-old murder goo. You know what I mean? You never know what it is.
There's something sticky on there. What's that?
Or where this thing came from, but it is old.
Okay.
And it is, I don't know if you would say it is magical or cursed or what exactly, but a little bit of both perhaps. Okay. But yes, it does give you a +3 to your violence roll. And
anytime I use it though, right?
With a successful, actually you don't even have to hit. You just have to roll violence. You have to use it violently.
Okay.
And it will cause you to rage, granting you an edge or edges, and
okay. But it also has bad.
Then there's also another effect.
Okay.
That I'm sure we'll get to deal with at some point in the future.
Oh, I'm sure. But the door is being knocked on.
Yes.
Is it an aggressive knock or like a friendly knock or like just a normal knock?
No, it's Uncle Sam, and he's Joe. Are you home? Are you in there?
Joel like definitely does like the caught kid, like, oh shit, like making sure gun is tucked behind shirt, like looking at the axe, going, where do I fucking and then just like shoves it under throw pillows, like throws them on top and is like good enough for now. And then waltzes up to the door, like peers through the peephole just to make sure that it is Uncle Sam.
Every show.
Peephole, 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 peephole.
You hit your gun or you hit the axe?
I hit both. Like I made sure my gun was tucked in behind my shirt and didn't look like it had been out or anything. And then I stashed the axe under the throw pillows on the couch.
Roll act under pressure.
Act under pressure.
Because
pressure situation.
Fucking this up might be interesting.
Thanks. Always looking for a way to fuck me up. Well, suck on them titties. You ain't fucking nothing up.
Oh. What? See, now look what you did. Yes, you do a great job. He never really sees them, although you can definitely tell when he comes in, he is it's like probably like your mother coming over the first couple of times, like, unexpectedly or something, where they're kind of like just looking around to see what you hadn't gotten to in time before their visit, or you know what I mean, examining, looking around.
My house is for sure in various states of disarray.
Trying to pretend like he's not looking around, but is
for sure
looking
is.
around. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nothing weird happening lately.
Depends on what you define as weird, other than you coming over here. What did you need?
You guys haven't had any sort of supernatural discussions about anything in the past? Some canon that I am completely oblivious to.
No, not really, because Uncle Sam was also in the military with my dad, so things are pretty black ops, if you will. The most supernatural conversation we've had is about the killers. Because Joel is, of course, shaken up when this happens, and they're trying to figure out, okay, is Joel going to come live with me? What are we going to do? And at that point in time, she was so shaken up by the entire thing that she's basically describing like, oh, these monsters. And Uncle Sam kind of like pats it off to the side as like, yeah, you were in a scary situation. You're like 14, 15, like pat, so cute. Like, no, people are just monsters was kind of how it was put. That humans are the real monsters.
Gotcha.
So that's pretty much the extent of the weird and wacky.
You look sweaty and out of breath. Did you piss yourself?
No, it was raining earlier. Um, and I got splashed by a puddle on my way to the subway. So hot garbage,
Splashed by a puddle like Lake Michigan.
Well, shit happens.
Um, Listen, there's all right. I know you've got to know you can't have gone this long without some odd something happening to you. It's completely surrounding you. I mean, like just recently. Have you seen anybody in your house? Is there somebody here?
No, it's just me. Why?
Let's just say I have a sense for these things. If you had an aura about you, it would be just wah 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 wah. You know, bomb alert sort of thing. Red alert like Star Trek. Wah wah wah.
It's like Star Wars, like when Darth Vader's coming down the line. Got it.
Yeah. What's on
Um,
the? You watch it on the TV there.
just old VHS tape that I found. Not no, just was digging through some of the old boxes down upstairs, and just normal. I think it was some episode of like Tom and Jerry, honestly. But it's kind of, I mean, it's kind of fucked up. I think it might have gotten some damage to it or something.
Roll to see through the illusion.
I don't know if I want to. Oh shit. Oh, I fucked that up. That was not better than a 9.
No. Okay. Well, it's then you're still going to see what I want you to see. It's just going to have an effect. Actually, you know what? Let's just disregard the roll. I'm going to have you see it anyways. It's not going to have
Okay.
do any good to have you get freaked out by it. Um, but he doesn't know that he doesn't really. Maybe he knows that you see it. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know.
Okay.
It's Uncle Sam. But he tries to do something a little sly, and you can almost see like this sort of like a energy, like his arms come up, but it's not his arms. It's like the spirit of his arm kind of comes up and does a little hooky pooky thing
Astral figure.
at the television, and the tape starts to play.
I just turn and look at it and look back at him and then go walk and kick the TV off.
When you're walking up there, and it's right to that point at the very beginning where you hear the voice from off coming in who yells the name Duga. And even though the accent is completely different, you realize that is the voice of your Uncle Sam.
Oh God.
Now, he wasn't one of the ones doing the
right
videotaping.
But he was the off-camera voice.
Yes, getting onto them for that or something else or something.
Okay. Joel definitely does pause in her movement, and it probably would be a little noticeable just in the fact that she's like this close from the button and then pauses to hear that voice and then clicks it off and just slowly walks towards the couch to sit in front of the axe and just kind of looks up at Uncle Sam and kind of shrugs a little bit. Well, that was weird. I mean, if you want to talk about weird instances, the fact that the TV just started playing on its own.
Do you expose the axe, or
No, it's just going to be tucked away behind me.
he says, I don't know as much as I used to. There's a war, for lack of a better word, that's been going on for a very, very, very long time. We've done this several times. This is the man who murdered your family and set all of this in motion.
Joel just kind of like sits back on the couch like after that and just kind of looks at him like, okay, you cryptic old fuck. What is that supposed to mean?
If I told you too much, it's going to sound odd. It's too much. It'd be like telling Christians that God didn't exist and then actually being able to show them that God didn't exist. It would, kind of fuck up their worldview.
Well,
they're going to want to claw their eyes out or something ridiculous like that. I don't want to take it quite that far, but I'm not really your uncle.
I noticed based on the fact that you just said my family, not our family.
Well, yes. We're from two different families.
Go on.
Well, I mean, that's kind of, I can't really tell you a whole lot about as far as, what do you mean go on? It's some of it's missing. I'm not sure how I'm not really sure exactly what happened, but we began to fight, but we're not supposed to. We're supposed to keep everything in balance.
Mm-hmm.
You're a guardian. You don't necessarily keep things in balance. You protect one of the ones who does. Your family tended the souls, made sure they got on the right trip.
Okay.
But we are first lives, and we don't take the trip. But here we all are. You have found a way back. It's amazing how you stumbled across that. Do you just look in every pocket you come across?
Well, it depends. Are you trying to compliment me and say that I'm clever?
I think I am. But I've watched you. I've kept my eye on you for a long, very, very long time. So much, a whole culture to try to teach a person in a short amount of time. And some of it gets foggy. I lose bits and pieces of it every day. I have my own curses and such to deal with. The Callum, this Callum, Callums are protectors, priests, guardians. They do different things, but they're highly powerful. He was a sorcerer of secrets. He was specifically responsible for sorcering the souls of the unclean. for their secrets, and then when they entered the trip, those dark secrets would be turned against them to haunt them, hopefully to be corrected, to teach them, so that when they pass through that life, they could hopefully unlock the gates and make it all the way through. I guard portals, doors. That door is one I can't go through, but you can. But you can't go alone.
Okay. And Joel just has one hand behind her, slipping towards the axe so she can grab it. Not going to pull it out yet, but I'm holding on to it.
Do you want to? I think there should be an act. I think that's an act under pressure.
To see if I can coyly grab
it.
it.
Yeah, in D&D, there's like a deception sort of thing, but this is basically the same thing. It's your coolness. So
I'm cool as not hell. I am very uncool.
So let me ask you this then. Are you grabbing it to like protect yourself? Like you're really not trusting this guy and the things that he's saying? Like maybe he's fucking with you? Or
it's more to do with the fact that Joel, when she finds herself in these situations, just feels more at ease with a weapon in her hand. That if the situation is to turn, or if she hears something she doesn't like that would go against her code of honor, essentially, that she has that ability and that capability to turn this conversation on a dime, because she wants to ask uncomfortable questions and she wants to ask hard questions, and if she doesn't get what she wants, or if someone in turn loses it, that it's like a protection or insurance policy, if you will, to just always be kind of ready for that pounce.
he has the ability to cast illusions to change his appearance, change the way he looks. When you make your instinctive move, he also has an instinctive move, and he's a bit more seasoned and spry, as it were. And his entire appearance changes. He is now in dark clothes with a long sort of trench coat type coat on, boots, gloves, and a mask, much like what Temple had on, where his face is completely covered. What did you call him?
Mummy man.
Mummy man. Yeah.
We refer to him as Mummy man.
But yeah, and it's got a bit of a smokiness to it, sort of radiating from it, and he moves extremely quickly to basically pin you and disarm you. So do you, when you see this sort of movement, are you going to be kind of I assume one of two things. There could always be a third that I'm not aware of that you may be. And that is that you would just, as a reflex, grab the weapon and go into defensive posture, or you would do the whoa, 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 whoa kind of wait, like, hey, man, I was just, like, it's just a habit kind of, you know what I mean? Like friendly.
Okay. Oh no.
What
oh
the fuck,
no.
miscommunication. So how do you think Joel would react? I'm going to give the instincts or whatever it is that happens here a moment to create a scene of tension between the two of you, whether that be of conflict or just stalemate.
Right. So it would be more of like, when your hand is up in like class too long and you like slowly pull it back down and the teacher's like, oh, did you have a question? You're like, no, I was just stretching, like just doing that. It's that kind of move. So as she goes to grab the axe and she kind of instinctively notices the shift, she kind of like pulls it back out and like pulls her arms back in front of her, crosses her legs over the top, and kind of relaxes into the couch like, oh, I was just getting comfortable. Like, don't mind me.
Gotcha. Then he can pull back just as quickly as he came it's sort of like just this quick blur of motion, and he's like back into his previous position.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, like, Jesus Christ, I almost killed you, kind of, is the sort of the expression that he seems to be putting off.
Which kind of just amuses Joel, and you hear her kind of chuckle. I'm sorry, are you a bit jumpy?
Just nervous. I haven't been as close to you as I'd like to have been over the last few years. And I want to make sure that you're on the right side.
Well, that depends, because I choose sides based on what I want to choose them for, and you have yet to kind of tell me what side of the angels or demons you're on, Uncle Sam.
I have been a friend of your parents here for a very, very, very long time, and have always been tasked with keeping an eye on you because you were the one who was supposed to take care of this. Prophecies and all. Get into it. The fantasy books being so popular and whatnot. The point is, you're right where you need to be, and there are a whole lot of things that you have still yet to learn. You've lost your friends at certain points along the way. Have you noticed recently that you haven't seen them around much at all? A lack of interest that never used to be there. Is there a train that goes by your house close by?
uh yeah, sometimes. Or it's just the neighbor. He has one of those train horns on his car. He enjoys them. Yeah, there's one of those down the other side. It's fine. Just ignore them.
Are you willing to help? Are you willing to get into all this?
For the sake of what? Sounds like some bullshit prophecy written on some bullshit stone someplace that I'm some magical supposed to save everybody. These are not the droids you're looking for.
He reaches into his pocket and pulls out this little blue opal.
Ooh.
And he says, I'm not going to hurt you. And he goes, and you really don't even have a chance. He kind of just gets to your forehead before you really even have when you go to move, he's already there. And he just sort of, with his finger, pushes that opal into the center of your forehead in between your two eyes. And I won't have you make it keep it together or anything, but I do want you to. You get to see yourself as Urbit, as the hound, as the dog, the guardian of the queen,
Dope.
in full capacity, and you are running through the forests and just all of the beautiful, fantastic settings that you can think of. Morphing from shape to shape, size to size, to uh, definitely maneuver your way through obstacles or whatever. Maybe you need to be a little dog to squeeze through this in mid jump. You know what I mean? It's that sort of scene as you are flying around and feeling the rush and excitement. And that's what you were doing at that time when the battle started and the conspiracy to take your house of the, let me get the name right because I did all of this lore work.
And now what is the damn name?
Yes. The Urkala, Irkalla, Irkalla. Yes.
Carla.
The term family and house and group, it's not exactly the same family that you and I think of. It's more almost you are, well, like Greek gods. You know what I mean? Sometimes you're related in ways, but maybe shouldn't be.
Somebody definitely did something they weren't supposed to do.
Yeah, because technically the gods weren't really like having intercourse, because gods don't need to have intercourse. That was the human way of putting a story to it, because it's the
Right.
only way they could make sense of it. But there are, shifting ebb and flow of powers and things and controls, and trying to balance the universe in a sense, that all of these little pieces are part of. And the yin and the yang of it is the Kalam and the Urkala. And at some point in time, as you will have sussed out through sitting and thinking, um, the Kalam apparently made a power play of some sort, or one of them at least, as though, this one apparently is not on that side. And the day that event happened, circumstances were that was the moment that Urbit was not on duty. You didn't have to be at the queen's side at that moment. This was
My
the
free
moment
day.
that you got to go stretch your legs, and that's what you were doing. You were having your run around the globe, and then, yeah, the event happened, and a whole bunch of the Urkala were thrown into the trip, which, to you is as good as murder, because you're not supposed to survive that. It's kind of like one of those unknowns. Like, what happens when we die? Well, we don't really know, because
No one's done
dead.
No one has done that.
None of us have ever gone into the trip and come back to tell about it. They call it the curse of 1,000 lives. That if we go over there, they say we have to live 1,000 lives before we can ever even get the chance to come back. And like a dead soul has to go through 7 gates before they can even come back and have their eternity as such. But we don't have to get into all of that. This is all just crazy Curtis stuff at the moment.
Okay.
But it has to do with the demiurge and the disappearance of the demiurge, because I pose that the demiurge may not be one single entity, but a conglomeration of entities that cause things to stay in balance. And then when that breaks up and falls apart, then the archons are out of control. Then the death angels are let loose, and you get the whole cult mythology starts to happen. Yes. That's my gods and monsters twist. And you are a part of that. And only because we're kind of at, oh, nope, there's still one more thing that we need to do. Oh. I'm role playing the uncle terribly. I had kind of like a little speech in my head, but for some reason it's just not there. And now every time you ask a question, I'm like, well, that's a really good goddamn question. Yeah.
Joel is good at questions.
Yeah. But he does have a guide for you. He has the person that you are going to take. He's also going to help you decipher. The videotape is also a cursed item, but it is the map and the key to getting in, because you can't just get there to this door. There are some
lock, pick it open, and just hop on in.
Yeah, well, he will explain that those images, those broken images of horrible, violent scenes, were like blood sacrifices that had to happen at various spots along the way to unlock the locks that have been put in place. So there's that thing that's going to have to be dealt with.
Whoops.
But we have the person for you. Ooh. He's a little obnoxious.
Oh, joy.
And he will, well, he's going to have you get ready. Like, this is a trip that starts now.
Oh, yeah, we're just going for it.
Yeah, so if you like need to like put on some dry pants.
Yeah.
Like pack up, and you don't have to like go through your inventory list now. But for Erica's homework, keep a thought as
go make an actual list.
just any important stuff that you might think you might want to pull out later, even if you think it's cheating, because those are the funnest ones.
The ones where I bullshit and you think it's a good idea.
Yeah. And he takes you to a man that he introduces to you as Fletcher. Fletcher Douglas.
Fletcher Douglas.
And this is a short man, probably boy, I use way too many pages notepad to run the show. Write and rewrite and rewrite. Mm-hmm. Where did I put Fletcher at?
I don't know. Where'd you put good old Dougie at?
I kind of know where. Yeah, I mean, he's short. He's like 4 feet tall.
Oh.
He's not like little person short, but he's getting there.
Short.
Yeah. And
so I'm gonna tower over him. Like I'm almost 2 feet taller than him.
Yeah. And he's kind of skinny. He's not real strong, kind of puny looking. He's overly hairy, and it's this really kind of thin, wispy hair, but there's just really kind of like too much of it. Kind of like have you ever seen a hairy blonde guy? Like a real blonde guy who's really hairy? There's not a lot of them. My family's full of redheads. So
I was gonna say, are you talking about my brother?
we all have like dark. His hair, Fletcher's hair is very light. Okay. And his facial hair is light. It's so light and wispy that he doesn't even have to shave that often because you just really can't see it. Mm-hmm. But even knowing that, Fletcher's kind of let it go too long. So,
gross.
So you can see kind of like this patchy, bits of just kind of gross blonde hair in the right light. It's just a little bit off-putting. He's probably, I don't know, 50. Just because that's a real shitty age. And
there wasn't any personal animosity in that
one. And a very kind of nasally voice. He kind of sounds like Gilbert Gottfried when he talks.
Oh, great.
But he's very happy to meet you.
What is this? What? How is this useful to me?
Fletcher's quite powerful, and he's needed on the other side, but he will need you to get him through that door.
And why exactly are you entrusting me with taking care of Fletcher and making sure that he gets to the other side of the door? What's so special about Mr. Fletcher here?
He will be able to do all of the things that you can't do. And once you get him through the door, you could be done with him if you like. But you're going to need him to do some of those things that you were wrinkling your nose at. To unlock the stuff. And I can already sense that there are going to be some other challenges along the way because you still have a very, very dark cloud hanging over your house.
What is that supposed to fucking mean? I am a chipper, joyful person.
And he's the only one that can go. I have no other person to spare. And he's needed on the other side.
Fine.
This is much bigger than Manhattan now. You're going off the island.
Yeah, I already did that a few times.
It's going to be a good time. Just a little jaunt up the street. A little bit of blood. You're not queasy, are you? I mean, you don't get queasy? Do you vomit?
No, do you?
No. If you did, that's all right. I don't mind vomit. Kind of like it. It's tangy.
That's disgusting. Okay, so when can we get going? Where are we going? Can I have a map? That was a map, yeah, and a key. You told me that. Can I have that? Let's go.
I think we're gonna fade out with the circular.
Oh, Joel just like, give me the fucking, let's go. Let's get this on
Yes,
with. I'm done.
Fletcher reaches back and scratches his butt through his slacks.
Ew.
He's kind of like wearing this cheap suit for the 80s.
Nice.
One of his like a kid's suit though, because it's like the only thing that
So
fits
it's like
him.
that shitty, like costumey, like silky, like, but it's not. It's plastic material. Nice.
You can't buy good suits for kids these days.
Well, if
You
I
gotta-
light it on fire, you're gonna die.
and I'm in Manhattan. You think I could get a good suit for a kid? There's got to be spoiled. Surely Trump's got somebody makes suits for his spoiled ass little kids.
I thought you were gonna say for himself, but okay.
I'm talking about old man Trump. You know, the one with the eyebrows that go forever.
They still both need little kid suits. Let's be honest.
Oh, we can never have a serious cult game, which is why I've mucked it all up. It's going to be fantasy, but I do have lots of creepy, gross, terrible, horrible bad guys, terrible, mean stuff. And I think the getting sucked into the videotape, that was a pretty good one today. The look on your face was nice. I liked that.
Thank you.
Yes. And writing the outro, that was the one thing on my list I didn't get done.
Wait, who needs to write outros?
No.
We pull from the hip on this shit.
No, I need to write an outro, or it'll be a 15-minute long outro, which I'll get to the end of and go, what was I talking about?
That's why I'm here. You just do it.
Which is exactly what happened the last time we streamed. What do we got going on? There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. And I'm going to tell you this before I try to go through that big giant laundry list of stuff that's going on. I'm just going to say that all of the real action happens where Izzy is, and that is on our Discord.
Mm-hmm.
It's just all there. If you type !Discord in chat, you'll get the link. If you go down below in the little doobly-doos below, there's supposed to be a link. I need to probably update all that stuff. I got to get over to the website and update that. I think it's still got like code and corruption on the front page. But yeah, we got lots of good stuff. There's Tim's game, the Cyberpunk Red Edge Runner Blues. I am putting together some stuff for that currently, and video type stuff. I've also been chatting with the KULT people. They've been talking about doing some stuff. If Mondays are open, I'm going to pitch to, not that you'll be able, I know you do some other social event on Mondays typically, but I'm going to start running through the published scenarios. I know there were some people that wanted to do the Island of the Dead. And I think Jaylee has Mondays sometimes, so I might be able to sneak her in a little more frequently than this one. Maybe not, but open it up. But it's kind of it's sponsorship bait, right?
We like that. Be our sponsor.
And I just
send us money.
And it's just kind of like I want to work through them. And it's like, what a better excuse to just start and work through them. We've piddled around with the summit. I kind of like to do that one again with the building that you guys went to the top of. It's much more brutal than that crazy stuff
than what we did.
Yeah, that was just barely scraping the surface. There's long texts of debates about that particular scenario and on the KULT channel in Discord. Lots of varied opinions about it. I like it, but I'm an odd duck. So I want to go through those. I want to do the big ones. I'll probably do the big ones last. I think I'll start with the short ones and work and do the big ones last. I don't know. We'll see. But that's in my plans. But Edge Runner Blues, Werewolf, the Apocalypse is coming back. I'm not sure. I don't think it's this week, but next week perhaps. I don't think there's anybody else streaming this week. Zorse. I think we got Zorse on Thursday. I'm almost certain that we do. It's only a few episodes left, and then there's going to be a replacement for that. Allie's going to be running the Dark Ages game. That's going to be cool. And a new GM, another new lady GM, If I may be misusing that word completely, just going to throw that out there because I don't, I'm just saying it's nice to have members of, not, you know what I'm saying. I'm trying to say the right thing, and I'm afraid I'm just going to say the stupidest thing. And sometimes
it's not a cisgendered male.
yes, that's not a cisgendered male. Sometimes you say something and realize that you just get yourself in more hot. You should have just said what it was you were going to say.
Yep.
Anyhow, before I get even worse,
keep going down the lineup. What you got after that?
I'm working on some Patreon stuff. So for all of you patrons out there, thanks for all of that. Thank you so much. It makes all the difference in the world, like literally all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
And I have immense piles of guilt about stuff, but I've got projects that I'm working on for you, some cool Heartland stuff, and it is on the way. Plus, I've decided, as the happy little faces videos are kind of typically of an adult nature always, and they don't do that great as far as YouTube goes. I have, I'm going to start making them a Patreon, the video part of it.
The video
part. We'll still do the live stream and stuff, but where instead of publishing it for everybody, I think I'll stick it over there because it's a good laugh. You know what I mean? It's good for the people who know. They enjoy it more than the people who come to like learn how to do face painting because they're going, can't what
are you doing?
And 15 minutes later, okay.
It's more of a video podcast is what it is, because we talk about the randomest of shit and we do the randomest of things, and then the occasional oh fuck, wait, what did you do? Go back.
And I like that, and so I think I'm going to send that over to them. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And so got some different stuff going. So thanks for hanging out. Thanks for hanging with us for as long as we have. Do you know we're almost a year 3?
I know, we're getting old.
The downward slope.
We're out of the terrible twos almost.
Yeah, I know. Still going at it. That's what I was telling Duke the other day. All the hard work about getting YouTube unlocked and all the monetization. I've got it all. All I need now is a pile of talent and material. Moths. Crickets. I tease. I have wonderful friends. They're all just so goddamn busy. It drives me crazy. And
I'm not busy. I'm great. I'm always here for you.
I'm always busy too, but I'm just always busy right here that I feel like I'm not busy. But there's never for want of something to do. Everybody out there, hey man, good night. Sweet dreams. And we love
you. Good night, sweet dreams. We love you. Good night, sweet dreams. We love you. Have a good, lovely Tuesday night.